This is classic rock in your favorite hits. Rock in the Northwoods of the UP and northern Wisconsin on 99.1 WIKB. Iron River, Crystal Falls. A listen-up radio star.
Now, here's Dr. Larry.
Did you know? Let's go.
You've waited all week.
Every week, we continue to learn how to achieve a better back and ultimately better health.
Live in the WIKB studios, this is Dr. Larry.
Well, thank you for hitting the flex capacitor, Lenny. Lenny rocks. Hello again, everybody. Okay, let's get it started. Well, as you know, every show builds on the next. Every week, we continue to learn how to achieve a better back and ultimately better health. Now, in case any of you missed it, last week we talked about common sense. It was an important week to be tuned in because we learned and defined about how to make sense of common sense because, let's face it, a lot of health decisions are on the fence. So here it is again. Common sense. Where is it? What is it? Let's make sense of common sense. Well, I'm not talking about medicine, not science, not technology for this review, just common sense. What is it? Is it intelligence? Not always. Is it education? Not necessarily. Is it experience? Sometimes. Common sense is practical judgment applied in real time, real life situations. Let me drift here for just a moment. It's the ability to pause, observe, think. Does this actually make sense in a common way? And by the way, common sense, not chiropractic, first has shown me that it's the best tool for you patients and even for myself. And many patients have remarked, Dr. Larry, that's common sense. I thought, wait, better than chiropractic even. So we live in a world of constant information, opinions, noise, and yet very little pausing, very little reflecting, very little questioning to inquire because common sense does not require a manual. It just needs a moment to think before acting. Let me give you a simple example. If something consistently causes problems and you continue to do it the same way, is that common sense or confusion? Common sense is not complicated, but it can be uncomfortable because it forces some honesty about habits. Could be diet habits, could be daily habits, about choices, about consequences. And here's the truth. It's not always emotional. It's just observational. Looks for patterns, results, outcomes, and asks, what is actually happening? It's not what we assume, though, not what we're told, though, but what actually is real. And here's another reality. Common sense is quiet. It doesn't shout, does not argue, simply notices and then adjusts, unless, of course, we ignore it. Why would we, though? Distraction, convenience, habit, social pressure, or simply just too rushed. So common sense requires slowing down just enough to think clearly in a fast world. That's rare, of course, but by the way, just FYI, in case you didn't know, common sense is not old-fashioned. It's timeless. It does not tick away. Technology changes, yes. Systems change, you betcha. Trends change all the time, but practical common sense remains constant. If something is overcomplicated when it should be simple, a common sense person asks why, then figures out where to pry. If a decision creates more problems than solutions, common sense person takes a notice, then takes action. If something, check this out, if something sounds too good to be true, and oh, I could give you a long list on that when it comes to healthcare stuff, and then repeat the list again, and still many will fall into the trap over and over again, even though we know it sounds too good to be true. Except, though, a common sense person pauses, does not react, and realizes the rabbit hole that's been repeated. So common sense used to be considered basic, obvious, foundational, yet now seems like rare. Common sense, of course, is just a phrase. It's one idea. It's a principle. I kind of sound like Andy Rooney right now as I'm going through this. If you guys know who he is. Yeah, thanks. Okay, Tim. Whew. I wasn't too far off the mark. It's not about being genius. It's not about having an advanced education. Oh, those smart people have common sense, and genius people do too, and not. It's not about memorizing facts. It's practical reasoning applied to real-time situations in real time. It's the ability to step back, look at a situation, ask a very simple question. Does not mean you give up, though. Or if something is nonsensical at first, common sense starts to see it. Too often we might say yes or often no, but it knows which way to go. And that question used to be more often, but today we live in a world that moves fast, thinks fast, reacts fast, but does not always pause to think clearly, because it requires the pause, observe, reflect. And just that logical evaluation, but logic with proper context. Remember, logic can be flawed too. How about that? Speed is not the same as wisdom. We have access to more information, endless articles, opinions. You might be even getting an opinion right now, it sounds like, for me even. Ugh. And by the way, like I mentioned, do you lean in right now as I'm saying this? Like, wow, I needed to hear this today. Or you lean away like, this guy is a total, he's out of his mind this morning. Don't worry, I'm almost done with the review. Hang on. Therefore, common sense is built over time and makes tweaks to it. If a choice repeatedly leads to a negative outcome, common sense takes notice, not once, not twice, not thrice, but over time. And here is the key distinction. Common sense is not emotional thinking, it's practical. It does not ignore feelings, but it does not let feelings override logic. Sometimes the most obvious truth is the one people avoid, not because it's hard to understand, but because it's hard to accept. Let us consider a simple life principle. Actions, consequences, not eventually, not theoretically, but consistently, predictably, and logically. Therefore, the common sense person observes this without overcomplicating it. Doesn't require a complex theory. Don't have to know quantum physics. It just requires honest observation. And here's another important reality. It's quiet. Does not seek attention, but people notice. Does not need validation, but becomes valid by itself. It just simply works. And let me drift again for a moment over to the business of healthcare. Last week I promised I'd try to stay away from it for just a show, just a little show. Remember, I only get like 50-ish per year here. So just a drift. I'm a healthcare professional who's in the healthcare industry pretty much my whole working life, I would say. And if you throw back college, I'd say most of the college life too. And I personally try to avoid the healthcare system if possible. And I said if possible. There's been occasions where we had to jump in, but common sense jumped us back out quickly again. And I wish I could elaborate on a recent experience for you, but let's just say this. Without common sense being deployed, one of our kids would have been completely mishandled by a lack of common sense in the healthcare system. So it does whisper while distraction shouts in the loud world. The quiet voice, of course, is easily ignored as it goes. Modern life rewards speed, convenience, instant knee-jerk clickbait attraction. But common sense rewards deliberate thought, observation, and measured decisions. And let me state this clearly. It's not old-fashioned, out-of-date, obsolete. It's timeless. Doesn't matter about technology. Trends come and go, but practical, logical, common sense. Common sense says it all. So, in a world that consistently, by the way, did you notice something? I repeated myself. I went through the whole scroll, went back to the top, and repeated it again. Did you catch it? Or did it sound different? I didn't really tweak too many words. I literally cut and paste one half and then replayed the second part again for you. I went right back to the top. I just kind of wove it in there seamlessly. Call it an audio trick, maybe a Jedi mind trick for you Star Wars freaks out there. But either way, what I did was I just repeated it, but it still sounded a little different. I wanted to do that because common sense told me to do it again. So let's wrap this up. In a world that constantly seeks complex answers, common sense often provides simple truth, not the most technical, not the most dramatic. Try not to be a drama for you. But the most logical, of course. It is the most logical. By the way, it's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most clear-thinking person in the moment. And sometimes the wisest decision you can make is the one that quietly makes common sense. There was more. However, if you missed that entire show and want to be more in the know, then log on to my website, drlarryradio.com. Hit the subscribe button, follow the links, and listen to all my shows. They've been uploaded now, which you can listen to at your leisure as a podcast. And here's the final point. If you like Common Sense radio shows, Just remember, I've got more Did You Knows. Now, beyond that, in addition to the CSI, I'll let you figure that one out. Last week, we learned a simple self-test for a rotator cuff tear. It was another Dr. Larry cool tool, and you can call my office for a freebie reminder just in case you're in need of a retip or a tip up. And so that was last week. Karate chop, hi-ya. Now today, we'll forget that monologue for a moment and keep remembering those mandatory communication skills all doctors must have, which are inquisitive listening and staying positive. Again, it often means the difference between sick and well. Also, it's another month of the year, so let's keep our hands in gear. So in our tip and trick segment today, we're going to learn a simple self-test for thoracic outlet syndrome. And of course, you snap into a Tim are calling it out right from the broadcast booth while we crank up the tunes and I hit the center stage for the demo. However, before all that, in order to have good health, you don't need a lot of wealth. So let's flex our forebrain and put some knowledge at the game, because today we're going to talk about, hit it, Pearl.
Dr. Larry brings you another segment of Did You Know?
Numbness and tingling in your hand or hands in the morning mostly, but it's not the funnel of the carpal tunnel, and it's not a pinched nerve that's taken a swerve. Well, then why in the world do so many of us have this numbness and tingling in our hands that is causing such a nuisance and a fuss? Let's find out why when we get back from the break. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Dr. Larry Radio Show.
Dr. Larry will be back in a moment. WIKB WFER Listen Up Radio presents Iron County High School Sports.
Tune in tonight as the West Iron County Lady Wycons take the court against the Calumet Lady Copper Kings. It's Wycon basketball. Pre-game coverage begins at 6 o'clock with Troy Margoni calling all the action here on WIKB WFER Listen Up Radio.
Brought to you in part by Stevens Real Estate, S&S Tree Works, Alice's Supper Club, Covantage Credit Union, Auto Dock and Towing, First National Bank and Trust, Remax North Country, Young's Golf and Recreation, the Iron Area Health Foundation, Shamco, Peninsula Title Agency, Ponchot Contracting, Town and Country Sales, West Falls, Marla Shamian State Farm, Connor Sports, Crystal Lumber, Wickwire, Oberlin's Incorporated, State Line, Mario's Outdoor Power Products, Minerick Logging, and Nash Funeral Home.
Your healthcare should be about what's best for you. Yet too often, healthcare professionals focus on keeping patients within their system, including who they refer you to. I'm Dr. Jason Klein, orthopedic surgeon and physician owner at OSMS. You should be seen by who you want, and you can be. At OSMS, our focus is on providing you with the highest quality of care in a safe environment. The best part is, you usually don't need a referral for orthopedic care. Learn more at askforosms.com.
What's cooking in your community? Head to one of these fine establishments for your next bite or beverage.
Alpha Michigan Brewing Company on the Circle in Alpha opens at 4 Wednesday through Friday and noon on Saturdays and Sundays. Call 920-358-9551 or go to alphamichiganbeer.com or Facebook for tap menu and events.
The Habit Bar and Grill, Highway A in Nelma, Wisconsin on the Snowmobile Trail and offering premium gas and daily specials. Open 10 a.m. 7 days a week. Call The Habit, 715-545-2646.
The Horseshoe Bar, downtown Amasa, opens at noon, 7 days a week. Burgers, sandwiches, nachos, crazy broad specialty homemade pizzas, and deep fryer snacks too. It always tastes better at the Horseshoe Bar, downtown Amasa.
The Local Eats List from your friends at WIKB WFER.
This is Jackie from Vulcan, Michigan, and you're listening to Dr. Larry Radio.
Break's over. Time to get cracking once again with Dr. Larry.
Numbness and tingling in your hands or your hand. In the morning mostly, but it's not the funnel of the carpal tunnel, and it's not a pinched nerve that's taken a swerve. Then what is it? A middle-aged woman recently checked herself into my office for a routine chiropractic maintenance visit. Per usual, I began to fix the problems in her back, neck, and spine. That is part of the process every month because her job twists it like a vine. However, during this last visit, she asked me why. Why does my left hand go numb in the morning? Why does it go away after I shake it this way, but happens almost every day? If it's not carpal tunnel, because it wasn't. If it's not a pinched nerve in the neck, then what is causing this nuisance-like speck? It's a common condition without as a common name, but something has to blame. Let me ask you all a few questions then. Do your hands go numb or tingle in the morning or middle of the night? And it could even be a few fingers that might cause you some fright. Can you shake it off without much of a fight? But does it repeat itself every day no matter what you do to make it go away? Well, let's get this diagnosis underway. Here is the reason why your hands get numb and tingle or fingers in the morning. Thoracic outlet syndrome. There it is. Says it all, doesn't it? Did you catch some of the dry sarcasm? So therein lies the problem. The condition and the reason for your hands going numb is not the common conditions that we all know. Pinched nerve, carpal tunnel. When I say those two together, if I pop quiz you right now, you would get the answers correct. Oh yeah, I know that, but it is totally carpal tunnel. My sister, brother, aunt, I had it. Pinched nerve of the neck. Oh, yes. So between the three, carpal tunnel, pinched nerve, and thoracic outlet, what happened? They're almost all equal as far as conditions that happen to folks, but why is it and how is it that thoracic outlet syndrome has the lousiest name and is literally not even on our radar as common as it is? Well, I have a few guesses, and I had to go explore some of those guesses, and let's hear about what I found. In the history of naming conditions, carpal tunnel syndrome and pinched nerve, household terms. Thoracic outlet, clinically common, publicly invisible. So let's go through a little historical timeline of thoracic outlet syndrome. This is horribly boring. This is worse than an insurance seminar boring, on purpose. You are going to mull through this because at the end, it's going to help you out. In the 17 and 1800s, early anatomists mapped the brachial plexus and the subclavian vessels. See what I'm saying? The recognition of these structural variations, cervical ribs, and scalene anatomy, there was no unified diagnosis yet for this condition. Symptoms described vaguely: arm weakness, maybe a little cold hands, tingling in the hands, numbness in the hands. At that point in time, zero public awareness, medical awareness, barely just could scratch the surface on the anatomy of it. By the early 1900s, they coined something called the cervical rib syndrome. Still, terrible name. Doctors link arm symptoms to cervical rib compressions. So let's, by the way, when you hear this, be thankful that you didn't have this condition then, because guess what happens? Here you go. The surgical removal of cervical ribs became the treatment. So if you came into your doctor with what I just told you, that as I was talking with the fellows in commercial here, they're going to sawzall out a rib on you. And you go, well, sweet, as long as it fixes it. But here's the problem. If that wasn't causing it, symptoms were still there. So now you're down a rib. And they did that in the, what was it, did I say, late 1800s and early 1900s. So back in the day, like I said, if you had the symptoms, look out, you're getting the surgery. Now we think surgery, by the way, now. Imagine what it was back then getting a surgery, right? I mean, what do they do with that gauze they put over your mouth and then hack away at that rib? But hey, it's a common condition, and that's what they did to treat it back then. Now, clinicians after a while began to realize, well, wait a second, this can happen without a rib compressing on it. So then multiple other names were used. Scalenus anticus syndrome. I mean, this syndrome was destined for, like, awareness death. Like, nobody knows what it is. Yet, the problem is it's so common. Because I just said the symptoms. You're like, I got it. I have it. Yep. Oh, I've had it. Yep. Oh, it's not carpal tunnel. I went to the doctor. We'll get into that. I went, got my test done, and they said they can't find anything. I still have numbness and tingling in my hands. Just like this lady did. I said that I've got to do a show on this. So even still, of course, through this period of time, which was in the 30s and 50s, and some of you might even have some cars from back then sitting in your lots and camps. Public awareness was still low, but the condition was still going on. Medical confusion was at an all-time high because there was no standardized term, really no standardized diagnostic. And then by 1956, the term thoracic outlet syndrome is popular. Do you want to call it popular? Do you think it's popular? I mean, honestly, I said the first two, carpal tunnel, pinched nerve, boom. I don't know about popular. I think they're taking a label that they shouldn't take. So now it wasn't just one disease, it was a spectrum of compressions. And here was the critical turning point. In the 60s and 80s, now we're merging into some better music. The 50s had some music too. Classification begins. Venous, atrial, neurogenic, still not making sense to you. Provocative tests were introduced. Adson's, Roos writes, boring, not going to help you, still blank stare. Right now, I get it. Meanwhile, though, public culture and awareness, carpal tunnel syndrome begins gaining recognition due to the typing factory and work. Carpal tunnel. So in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 60s, carpal tunnel, so now we're running parallel here. Same symptoms. Carpal tunnel starts to take off. And now it's like viral. Everybody knows what that is. By the 80s and 2000s, the controversy period of this thoracic outlet syndrome. Still, though, difficulty in finding it on imaging. Variable are the symptoms, even though there's some consistency to it, and overlap with carpal tunnel and pinched nerves in the neck. So that's the thing. It overlaps. You hear numbness and tingling in your hands, you go carpal tunnel, pinched nerve, carpal tunnel, pinched nerve. But if it's not those two, then what? It's this. It's this horrible name. Many neurologists, though, were still skeptical of a diagnosis, even though you had the symptoms. And the result? Thoracic outlet syndrome becomes undertaught despite being clinically relevant. Now let's go to the 2000s and bring us up to the modern day. With all the advanced technology, we can fly to the moon, almost Mars. We have self-driving cars, watches that talk to us, and phones that look at us. So somehow, some way, we must have a diagnostic tool now for this third thing that causes numbness and tingling in your hands and fingertips, right? Because if I'm saying the term, then you would know because you had the diagnosis and got it fixed. But nope. Just like this lady last week, it's just not one of those things. Here's the major drivers, though, what can cause it. Forward head posture, rounded shoulders, desk work, phone use, repetitive wrist activity. Nope. Oh, see, I was going to carpal tunnel. Redirect, Dr. Larry. See, the brain wants to go to carpal tunnel. See, even though I'm telling you this, you still want to think it's carpal tunnel. But if you don't get a diagnosis and a treatment, you're going to suffer with this sucker. So, no, it's repeated overhead activity. Think a mechanic maybe with his arms up, okay, repeated overhead. Think of somebody with their shoulders rounded forward for their career. Think of a chronic sloucher. So shoulders rounded forward. Then, of course, you can throw your trauma and whiplash, but that's still more rare. I don't see it that often. So, common knowledge. The simplicity. The name is horrible. Carpal tunnel made it. Clear location. We know where it's at. It's in the wrist. Pinched nerve. Easy. You point to your neck. Thoracic outlet. Some of you anatomy gurus might be like, well, that's my thoracic cage. That's my middle back, right, Dr. Larry? And I go, wrong. It's still not right. It's still not quite where it's at. Because we hear thoracic, even if you have some level of anatomy and some understanding, you're still going to point to your middle back for the most part, or your rib cage, let's say. Yeah, like Tim's pointing his rib cage. Still not going to get you there. So I couldn't find out who named this thing. I couldn't find out. I'm sure I could if I dug a little deeper, but whoever did, terrible at naming names. I think we need to name it a new name. I think I'm going to pose this out to you today. I think that's what we need to do. I think today's the day. Mark this day in history. We are going to explore a name for this, and that's going to make sense. So when you have this and you get all of your negative tests, or all your tests run, and they're negative, well, you have carpal tunnel. Because I'm telling you right now, it's happening. Clinics everywhere, going in, numbness and tingling, run a nerve test. Your nerves look really good. I can think of a patient right now from Iron Mountain that came in 2 years. He was going around to specialists with numbness in his hand, tingling in his fingers, and they were cold. And this is quote unquote, they said, your hand is perfect. And he goes, then why does it do this? It's a common sense question, right? So he comes into me And I said, lad. And he was actually older than I was. I was like, I think I can help you if it's what I think it is. But still, we got to get out of this. We got to get out of this name. We got to help out humanity with this stupid name so more people can get correctly diagnosed. But for the sake of context here, let's just run through here the carpal tunnel diagnostics. Really objective. Carpal tunnel syndrome, if you have numbness and tingling, and it is that you get an EMG that's positive, you can easily get it surgically corrected. Occupational therapy can help. Some chiropractors adjust wrists, I'm one of them. Or you can do some home stretches. Carpal tunnel, if you have it and you got it, you're A-OK because the treatment's pretty effective. Thoracic outlet syndrome, often have a normal EMG, often have symptom-based diagnosis, and it overlaps with an impingement in your shoulder and your neck. It overlaps with an impingement in your elbow. So that's where everybody starts hunting and pecking because that's on everybody's radar. Oh, it must be your neck then if it's not your wrist. Oh, it's not in your neck, so it's got to be your shoulder. Oh, it's not your shoulder? It's got to be your elbow. Oh, it's not your elbow. Now we're chasing our tail. You ever seen a dog chase his tail, can't stop? That's what happens with thoracic outlet syndrome because of the stupid name. So I don't know if that's a little New York or what coming out, but we're going to fix this today. You and I, us together, we're going to fix this now. So you can go back to your house, go back to your dwelling places, go back to your camp, go back to your life and be like, we got a new name. All right, so many providers are trained extensively in disc herniations, radiculopathy or pinched nerves, and carpal tunnel. But to receive, though, unfortunately, minimal training in the thoracic outlet in biomechanics because of the fact that there is no great diagnostic tool. So wrist hurts, neck hurts, shoulder hurts. You already know the drill on that. In modern day, thoracic outlet syndrome is underdiagnosed, which fits exactly with arthritic patients. Do you have degenerative disc disease? Do you have rounded shoulders? Are you one of those people that works at a desk? Are you a mechanic, logger, dentist, chiropractor, banker, accountant, stay-at-home mom, gamer? Well, I guess that's starting to grow the list, isn't it? Yep, because a lot of people get this. It's a nuisance problem. But we're going to fix it right now. We're going to make this condition as easy to understand and universal as a pinched nerve and carpal tunnel. Let's do it together. Let's fix this problem. Let's put some common sense into this for everybody. We're going to etch this in stone today, and we'll do that when we get back from the break. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Dr. Larry Radio Show.
Dr. Larry will be back in a moment.
Here's your Iron River and surrounding area forecast. Chance for snow this afternoon, otherwise cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun. Highs level off around 33, southwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly cloudy skies expected again tonight, lows level off around 21. A dusting of snow today. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on WIKB. Currently 24.
True Recycling of Caspian, Michigan. Buyers of copper, aluminum, brass, and other recyclable metals. Check them out on Facebook or at truerecycling.com, 906-265-9262. True Recycling, saving the planet. 1 ton at a time.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized to you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situations change? When you work with Ryan O'Grady, your Crystal Falls Edward Jones financial advisor, he focuses on what's important to you. You work together and use an established process to create a personalized financial strategy, backed by the advice, tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And you can partner long-term to help your strategy stay on track. Contact Ryan today at 906-875-3833. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
I would never recommend buying a home without having the water tested first. It's cool, it's clear, it looks clean. Oh, it tastes good. Well, what's really in it? And we just recommend that you check it out. I'm Jennifer Toivonen. I'm a co-lab director at Whitewater Associates of AMISA. Coliform bacteria, lead, arsenic, nitrates, nitrites. You want to be sure that water is safe. I would recommend giving us a call. That way we can tailor the kit that we send to you for what you need. 906-822-7889. Give us a call.
Spring is in the air, and Jensen Akins is a perfect place to help you spruce up your appliances to celebrate. We've got all the brand name appliances you trust, like Whirlpool, Maytag, and Amana, all set to brighten your home and make the chores in your life so much easier. And Jensen Akins doesn't just sell Whirlpool appliances, we service them as well. That's at Jensen Akins of Conover, of course.
Breaks over. Time to get cracking once again with Dr. Larry.
Numbness and tingling in your hands or hand. In the morning mostly, but it's not the funnel of the carpal tunnel, and it's not a pinched nerve that's taken a swerve. Then what is it? You go, oh, no, I know what it is now, Dr. Larry. It's that name, that thing you said before the break. It's horrible. But mark this day in history. We're going to fix it. A middle-aged woman recently checked herself into my office for a routine chiropractic maintenance visit. Per usual, I began to fix the problems in her back, neck, and spine. It's part of the process every month for her because her job twists her back like a vine. However, during this visit, she asked me why, as many people do. She represents the masses. Why does my left hand go numb in the morning? And why does it not go away until I shake it out a little bit? And it happens almost every day. But if it's not carpal tunnel, if it's not a pinched nerve in the neck, then what is causing this nuisance-like speck? Well, it's a common condition without as much of a common name, and that's the part to blame, as I said. So here we are. This problem that affects a lot of us, but is still so elusive. It doesn't get fixed unless you know what it is. You just deal with it. In rare circumstances, it will cause, like the one fellow that came in, it will cause whiteness into the hand, cold, and in very rare circumstances, it'll actually cause the muscles to get weak. And remember I said way back in history, they were just cutting ribs out of everybody? That's because that is the rare circumstance. It's a rib that squeezes against a couple of things, nerve, artery, and vein, and you got to get the rib out. Of 24 years in practice, I think I know 2 or 3, tops. Again, tie this back into common sense. If you were in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and you came into your doctor with this, they would 99 out of 100 people had their ribs cut out for this, let's say. Because they're like, oh, that's the treatment for it. That's the new treatment. That's the best way to get rid of it. Cut the rib. And then you cut the rib, and it's like, oh, no, it's from these other things that cause it. But again, if we just get the name right, if we just frame it correctly like a pinched nerve, or if we just frame it correctly like carpal tunnel, then I think moving forward, 2026 and beyond, we might be able to get this to be just like household name, just like the rest, carpal tunnel, pinched nerve. So let's do it. Let's name this thing now. We're gonna punch this out. And I had some thoughts in my head, but I thought, Dr. Larry, you're educated, but you're not as smart as some other people. So who do I call? What's the genius? Who do I call? What genius do I know? Because in this case, I guess we need some genius and some common sense. Then the light bulb came on, and I was like, I'm going to go to AI. I'm going to go to ChatGPT. I'm going to ask ChatGPT this question. We're going to have ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, the smartest techno bot in the world right now, to literally take what's been elusive for history of why our hands get numb, tingling, and sometimes go cool, and it's always usually in the nighttime to the morning time, and we shake it off and it gets better. Or let me add too, when we're driving, if you're driving and your hand starts to go a little numb, and it's not carpal tunnel and it's not a pinched nerve in your neck, I keep saying it, then it's this thing, this thoracic outlet syndrome that I've said 52 times now, and still it's going to be forgotten about. So I went to ChatGPT, and I put it on center stage. And by the way, I figured let me get a relationship with ChatGPT here first. So this is how I framed the question. This is exactly what I typed into my computer. I did it this morning, before I got in. I said, how about this? What I want you to do is I want you to rename so the public understands. And I said, this is what I told ChatGPT. Be careful. I'm going to tell the public that I asked you. And you better get it right, AI fella. I actually put that in the ChatGPT. I said that. I want you to rename this so we can move forward in life and so people can get this properly diagnosed. And I'm going to read to you the response. Here we go. This is the response, and it was fast. I mean, brilliantly fast. That's why they got all these data centers everywhere now, because this thing came back fast. Here's the response. You can absolutely give it a public-friendly name for the show, Dr. Ellie. Just don't imply the medical community is officially renaming it. Oh, okay. So a little caution there. Little gut check. Make sure, a plain English nickname that describes what's happening is perfectly fine to do. So here we go. Here's my pick. This is by the ChatGPT. I'm talking to you like I'm a bot right now. This is what it is. Shoulder neck nerve squeeze syndrome. Wait, what? Here's the tagline it gave. The nerves to your arm are getting squeezed between your neck and your shoulder. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, the tagline's good, but so now that the first response out of the most brilliant machine in the world was, let's call it shoulder neck nerve squeeze syndrome. That's worse. That's horribly worse. This is terrible. And this is best. Then it goes on to explain why this is good for the radio. You ready? This is good. People will instantly visualize where it is. Neck shoulder junction. Nerve squeeze matches the public's pinched nerve mental model and doesn't overpromise vascular details. Here's a strong alternative. Oh, okay, all right. Phew, saved. So the first one was terrible. Maybe the second one that it gave us to rename, because we have to do this today. We got to fix this. We're done. History shows that we got to fix this. Neck to arm nerve compression. Go ahead and say that to your doctor. I have neck to arm nerve compression because Dr. Larry, and we fixed it on Telephone Time /99.1 WIKB on his show. Lop it all in there. Iron County, spread it across the world. We fixed it. We're going to call it neck to arm nerve compression. Say that 10 times in a row. Carpal tunnel, carpal tunnel, carpal tunnel, CTS, pinch nerve, pinch nerve, pinch nerve, neck to arm nerve compression, neck to arm nerve. Stupid answer. And here's what it says. This is a very straightforward, medically honest, less syndrome type answer. This is what it told me. Then it gave me another one. Collarbone pinch. Okay. All right. That's got a little flavor. It's memorable. It's great for lay people. Collarbone pinch. Best when you're describing the costoclavicular space under the collarbone, AI chatbot tells me. Or here's another one. Try this one out. I'm just throwing these on the wall right now. We're brainstorming here at 12:42 on a Thursday. Let's just keep brainstorming because I'm going to wrap this up because we're going to fix it. Arm numbness from imposter syndrome. This is what I'm getting back. This was supposed to give me an answer. Perfect if your show is posture, tech, neck, forward focus. The downside, it's a bit long. No kidding. No kidding. No kidding. That was a terrible name. Okay, here's another one. This is a little bit outlet pinch. You know when I think of outlet pinch, I think of like water, and I think like an outlet or like a plug in the wall. You know, oh yeah, I got to go to the outlet. So outlet pinch. So then I'm looking at a wall of plugs and go, how's an outlet in a wall? How did I tell a doctor that I have an outlet pinch and my hand's numb? Oh man, we're gonna throw that one out. That's terrible. Here's what ChatGPT said to us, by the way, because it knows now that I'm broadcasting this to you. Probably even listening right now. Might be the bots are listening. Keep a link. It keeps a link to thoracic outlet, but makes it more understandable. The downside, outlet is still abstract. Yeah, I agree, 100%. And here's what it tells me to tell you on air. So I'm going to tell you what it tells me to tell you. Thoracic outlet syndrome is a medical term. Beep. For today's show, period, I'm going to call it shoulder neck nerve squeeze, period, because that's what it is, period. The nerves and sometimes blood vessels to the arm get crowded and irritated where the neck meets the shoulder, period. Okay, I'll say it my way. Thoracic outlet syndrome is a medical term. For today's show, I'm going to call it shoulder neck nerve squeeze. Nope, I'm going to erase that. But what it is the nerves and sometimes the blood vessels, artery too, to the arm get crowded and irritated where the neck meets the shoulder. Now, does that sound like something where, as far as a condition goes, when I put the flavor of it, At least we're kind of getting a reference now, clinically, what we're talking about. So it's not carpal tunnel. It's not a pinched nerve. It's the nerve, or sometimes the blood vessels in the arm get crowded and irritated where the neck meets the shoulder, the traps, in the traps area. So it comes out of your trap area. Okay, all right, but we still don't have a name yet. We have to get a name. Thoracic outlet can involve the nerves, sometimes the blood vessels. And if this happens, you get numbness, tingling. Your hands sometimes might get cold. So the fella from Iron Mountain that came in, when he came to me, I actually took a picture of this so he could see it and send it to his doctors, because I was like, yeah, you've got thoracic outlet syndrome. And what's that? He goes, is it carpal tunnel? No, it's not carpal tunnel. Is it a pinched nerve, Dr. Lee? No, it's not a pinched nerve. So I got to do this over and over again. That's why I figured I'd spend an hour on this with you today, so we can fix this and you can go deploy yourselves out and fix it too, so we get a name for this stupid name, thoracic outlet syndrome. But basically what it is clinically, it's the compression between the neck and the shoulder, the trap area. So think of your trapezius area, right around the collarbone area. It gets squeezed from a lot of things we do. If you're a side sleeper, you're going to get it over time. If you had to do office work, you're going to get it. If you're a mechanic, if you're a logger, if you're a chiropractor, if you're a dentist, crowded over, if you're a stay-at-home mom, when we round our shoulders forward and we squeeze and we do it over and over again, and Tim's tapping away, exactly right, our shoulders start to do that. We lay on our sides, and all of a sudden what happens, it starts to crowd. And what crowds? Muscles. What crowds? Sometimes a rib, but rare. And it starts to shorten the muscles. It starts to wrap around tight slowly, and then all of a sudden you start getting the tingling into your hands, and you start getting the numbness. Okay? So you see clearly now, it's not a pinched nerve in the neck, because it's not in the neck. It's not a pinched nerve in the shoulder, because it's not in the shoulder. It's not a pinched nerve in the elbow or wrist, because it's not carpal tunnel and it's not in the elbow, but it's the same nerve package, but it shows up clear as a bell on advanced imaging. Clear as a bell. So you can spend 10 grand in tests if you want. I don't think that's common sense. I mean, once you get a nerve test done, and because it doesn't need to be diagnosed with $10,000 worth of tests. When I diagnosed the guy from Iron Mountain, it was $150. $150 he had to pay me, and it took me about 30 minutes. And he had a full diagnosis after 10, 20 grand worth of tests before he came to see me. Without those tests, I could have easily, and don't take this as a bragging point. This is a learning objective for all of us. This is not, you're picking yourself in the back again, Dr. Larry. If you want to take that route, turn off the radio. All right. So anyway, the deal is that I'm trying to frame this around for you so you understand what it is. But here's the catch. We don't have a name yet. Okay, that was mostly a bomb, and I'm bummed when it came to renaming this thing. Terrible, boring medical history I had to walk you through or drag you through. And no great test name. AI gave us a lousy answer for why your hand goes numb as far as naming it goes, and tingling, and worse in the morning when driving it, because now you know what it is, right? You know it's in the trap area. All the tests come out negative. A good discerning doctor can figure out that it's thoracic outlet. A good discerning physical therapist, a reasonably good discerning practitioner of any sort who knows what to look for can diagnose this for you correctly. So by George, I think I've got it. Light bulb just went on. I've got a name. Here we go. Grab out a pad and pencil. If you have numbness and tingling in your hand, you're a side sleeper, you're a whoever, and all of your tests are negative, you went to the doctor and found out absolutely you do not have carpal tunnel, and absolutely you do not have a pinched nerve in your neck, and they can't figure out what's wrong with you, just remember this. You are going to get the most common condition, third in line almost, of carpal tunnel, pinched nerve, and fill in the blank. It's coming. That you can just walk right to your doctor and give it to them, because it is that common. It happens as equal to all those other conditions. Pinched nerve, carpal tunnel. This is what I want you to tell your doctor you have. Thoracic outlet syndrome. Now Google that and how to fix it. Okay, upcoming announcements and our tip and trick of the week. This is the Dr. Larry Radio Show.
We'll be right back with Dr. Larry.
Good morning, Advanced Clean Care. This is Dale. Yes, we are working and booking jobs. It's business as usual. Sure, I can tell you what we do. We're a cleaning and restoration company. We specialize in carpet and upholstery cleaning and water damage extraction. What precautions do we take? We wear a mask and shoe coverings, and we use nitrile gloves. We wipe down and sanitize surfaces that we touch before we leave your home. Our equipment? We use a self-contained truck mount system using hot water extraction for cleaning carpets, tile, and upholstery. The water we clean with is nearly 200 degrees. That alone provides a major disinfecting through the cleaning process. We're careful to keep to a 6-foot social distancing, and we listen to your concerns that you might have. How busy are we? Oh, we're busy, but we can fit you in. We are deemed an essential business, and we've been taking dirt from everyone for over 35 years. Call Advanced Clean Care at 265-1070 and make an appointment.
Are you running for political office this year? Keep your name out of the mud. Explain your actual plans rather than littering the sides of our beautiful UP roadsides with your signs. They'll just get covered in mud and will make you look like a litterer. Have you ever voted for anyone because you saw their sign? Me neither. And I, for one, really dislike seeing all those signs after the election has already happened. That really is litter. So if you want to actually tell people why to vote for you rather than just showing them your name, give us a call at Listen Up Radio. We have 6 UP radio stations and some of the most visited websites into UP, like the Key Winter Report. We're at 906-482-7700. Or shoot me an email. I'm at jharyu@listenupradio.com. That's 906-482-7700 or jharyu@listenupradio.com, which is JHARJU@listenupradio.com. And good luck with your campaign. I hope it's a good, clean, honest one. Or if you don't have one yet, we can even help you get started.
Break's over. Time to get cracking once again with Dr. Larry.
Thoracic outlet syndrome. Google it. Upcoming announcements. Here's a few of them for you before we wrap up the show and get to the weekly tip and trick. Here's a list of some shows. Jim asked me earlier, do you have some shows you might want to think you might do? Oh yeah, I got some ideas. Well, here's one that I'll get to that's my fault. It's not this guy's fault. It's not this company's fault. It's my fault that I haven't got to him yet. I just tied up, busy stuff. I'm doing a webinar now monthly for chiropractors, and so it's kind of taking a little bit more extra time for me too, on at least a day or two a week. Okay, sleep apnea is a serious sleep disorder where breathing repeatedly stops and starts, often causing loud snoring, gasping, and poor sleep, leading to daytime fatigue, concentration issues, and increased health risks like high blood pressure. The most common type, obstructive sleep apnea. Maybe we should rename that one too. Let's call it airway stop syndrome-ish. We'll call it obstructive sleep apnea. That happens when the throat muscles relax and block the airway, while central sleep apnea, CSA, occurs when the brain fails to signal breathing muscles. Not as common, by the way. Diagnosis involves a sleep study, which can be done at home now for a lot of cases, with treatments ranging from, common sense, by the way, whoever thought about that technology, treatments ranging from lifestyle changes and CPAP machines. I'll do a show on that, but I'm going to get some help. From the folks over at Total Respiratory. Lars, what a sweet name. I got Larry, he got Lars. So go talk to Lars over at Total Respiratory at 500 West Genesee Street. Suite A, it's right at the corner here in Iron River. The number, call them right now if you want, if you need a CPAP, BiPAP, nebulizer, cough assist. They've got glucose monitors, oxygen concentrators, but catch this. You know the days of lugging around a cylinder? You know those long, clunky things? You got huge, heavy, and they have a limited amount of O2 in there, and they got to switch them out because that's why you need more than one cylinder. Lars at Total Respiratory, they've got 39 locations, by the way, 39 locations nationwide, 44,000 plus patients. They have a portable, itsy bitsy baby, little thing that you carry that you can get rid of your cylinders for the most part, unless you're a really high oxygen liter user. But for the sweet spot people that need to run around life with an O2, they've got something, and they can get your insurance. They'll qualify it. That is basically seamless with the big whopping tanks. So yeah. So talk about common sense. A cylinder that weighs, well, I mean, you got the little carrier, I understand that, versus a little thing in a backpack or a little side pouch that you can carry that needs batteries, and you just recharge it, and it lasts several hours. You can buy a couple extra batteries too if you want. They got that over there. So a lot of times don't even bother with cylinders anymore. That's Lars at Total Respiratory, 906-999-8271. Give them a call and go check out what they got. CPAP, BiPAP supplies, and nebulizers. And, of course, you just heard me say oxygen and oxygen concentrators. Don't forget about Queen City Running. Any of the 3 stores you just heard me say Queen City Running, you tell them you heard it on my show, you get automatic $20 off. They got stores in Marquette, a store in Marquette. They got a store in Houghton, and they've got a store in Iron Mountain. You'll see it when you cruise in Iron Mountain on the right-hand side. They got a nice place there. Just tell them Paige said so. No, Paige is one of the owners. Paige said, Dr. Larry, you can tell them that you said so. So you can go get $20 off on any one of their shoes. And by the way, they've been on the show before. It's going to be a nice little fit they do for you. So you make sure you get the right sneakers for the upcoming spring season. Is it going to happen? Are we going to get spring anytime soon? Spring? Where are you? Spring? Call me. Call us in the UP. Pick up the phone, Spring, please. We miss you. Also, there's a Ask Dr. Larry link on WIKB. You can email your healthcare questions to me, www.wikb.com. Fill out the form, Ask Dr. Larry. Pile in, throw me a question, I'll respond to it. It's free. All you got to do is put your stuff on there and ask me the question. Don't forget to check out my website, drlarryradio.com. There's 3 tabs there. You can catch, well, this show will be up to. So the thoracic outlet syndrome lives on. By the way, most of you probably caught what I did. And for the some that didn't, I got it, because sometimes I don't understand. Sometimes, what I did for you, the name is horrible, but it's very common. I just drug you through the whole thing to basically say, now you know what thoracic outlet syndrome is. That's the name you use when you go see your doctor. So I spelled it out for you. We all need a little Sesame Street. I just took you through the long way because why not? It's fun because if I just came out here, did a clinical discussion of thoracic outlet syndrome, boring, and it's still not going to stick. Now you know it's in the trap area, and it's not carpal tunnel, and it's not a pinched nerve in the neck. It's not from the shoulder, not from the elbow. All diagnostic tests, but you still got it. It's coming between the neck and the shoulder. It's in the trap area there. Thoracic outlet syndrome. Google it. Find out how to fix it. In fact, what's going to happen here in just a few seconds, Tim, he's chomping at the bit. He just popped up out of his chair. He unslouched his shoulders that were rounded that could cause numbness and tingling in his hand from thoracic outlet syndrome. He could have had that, but he fixed it right now. And you'll see fixes too when you Google it. But what we're going to do, actually, I'm going to wrap this whole shebang up, this whole deal up with a tip and trick of the week. Tim, you head up to the broadcast booth. I'm heading out center stage for the demo because today, beauty. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Tim's learning the board. He's smiling. He's happy. We got this routine down. Now you can hear me because I want you to hear. We're going to go over the tip and trick of the week. How do you detect thoracic outlet syndrome? Thoracic outlet syndrome. TOS for short. You're getting it? Am I making it common yet for you? Thoracic outlet syndrome. Okay, I'm going to do my thing. Tim's going to call it out and I'll tell you what's going on.
All right, Dr. Larry's got his left hand up above his head and he's going like five with his fingers, stretching them.
Like a blinking light. So if you've got numbness and tingling in the morning or at night, you're a side sleeper, you're a sloucher, you're a gamer, you're a banker, a candlestick maker, a butcher. If you got that, and maybe you've gone to the doctor, maybe you haven't. Maybe you've gone to the chiropractor, maybe you haven't. Maybe you've gone to PT, maybe you haven't. But if you have the symptom, like the lady that came in. I said, I'm doing the show, and it's going to frame around you because so many people ask me this. And it's a little cold maybe too, and you could shake it out, or if you're driving, if you want to test to see if you have that and not the other two, you hold your hand above your head, you squeeze a little bit, you kind of like Tim said, five, and close. So it's closed fist, open hand, closed fist, open hand. If you start to go numb or tingling within about 30 seconds and it starts to do that, and you want to get your arm behind your back and head a little bit. You really want to get, yeah, Tim, you got shoulder problems too, buddy. HIPAA violation, sue me, man. Your shoulder probably a shoulder impingement too, Tim. So if you hold your hand above your head and behind you a little bit, then, and it goes numb and tingle, most likely you have the thoracic outlet syndrome. One of the top 3 common things that cause it, in addition to carpal tunnel and a pinched nerve in the neck. So, how'd I do? Did I get you there? Did we get there? Did we rename it or just name it? Or did we just frame it? I think we did it. I think we got it. You're going to know now. You're going to recognize the symptoms. You're never going to forget this. You're going to understand. But so my question too is, it's been so elusive for modern medicine history all these years, as you heard me say, still no definitive test. Still not one of those things where all of a sudden people are coming in. Everybody tells me when they had carpal tunnel, I had carpal tunnel. Ooh, I had a pinched nerve in the neck. Nobody rifles into my office. Did you know I had thoracic outlet syndrome, Dr. Larry? And yet it's just as common as all 3 of those. So see what I just did there? I just circled back around and just kind of, I swirled it around for you again. So you have it. It's as common as the other 2. Lock it into our brains. Lock and load, as we say, so we have it etched in there. And hopefully, we learned what thoracic outlet syndrome. Folks, remember, you can listen to me live right here every week to learn how to achieve a better back and better health. Smooth Timmy. If you're having a pain or problem, I'm here to help. My number at the office is 906-875-3215, thoracic outlet syndrome. Have a good day, everybody. Have a good day on board. See you next week.
WIKB, Iron River, Crystal Falls, a listen-up radio station.